Hi friends, this is Abhijit Talukdar. I am a individual registered investment advisor based in Mumbai, and I advise clients on portfolio advisory services, on mutual fund advisory services, as well as financial life planning services. Many of you, in fact, may have used my website at nx.com and IC Tracker software on it to look up the intrinsic value of Indian and US stocks from time to time. In my 5 years of advisory experience as a registered investment advisor, um, I have found that there are clients who invest for many reasons. Some invest for starting the process of creating wealth, whereas some others start invest for actually preserving the wealth uh, that they already have made. So therefore, it is important that the advice that I give to my clients is specific to the client's own requirement, and which is, in fact, one of the reasons that makes the investment jobs, advisors' jobs, that much more challenging. Um, the other, striking thing that I have noticed in my, 5 years is that people start the process of investing very late, and uh, therefore they do not give themselves enough time for the power of compounding to take effect. Now, therefore, if there is one thing that I can tell you today to do or to even teach your children is to start investing early and stay the course. Uh, this, in my experience, is the single biggest thing that you can learn from and take away from this video today. Of course, I have clients who come up with many other questions from time to time, and what I wanted to do today is take some of the most common of these questions and try to, answer them and put them in this video for your own benefit. So here goes. Number one, how much money should I invest? This question comes up quite often, and the way I answer this is to tell my clients, uh, is to use the 50-30-20 rule. What it means is that 50% of your income should be used for your expenses that you need. 30% should be used for the expenses that you want, and the balance 20% is something that you should either save or invest. Now, what I mean by needs are the things that you cannot avoid. Things like food, clothing, travel, transport, medical expenses. These are things that you need month on month. Therefore, half of your income should go towards your needs. 30% should go towards your wants. These are things that you do not need immediately. You can postpone it if required. Things like uh, vacation, things like buying a new phone, or things like buying a new appliance, for instance. And therefore, after you've taken care of your needs and your wants, the balance 20% is something that you should try and invest. This is a thumb rule. These numbers are not cast in stone, so you can use them to suit your own, as per your own requirement. Another question that I get is it not risky to invest in the stock markets, either directly or via mutual funds? What if the markets were to crash? So, yes, investing in the stock markets is risky. There is no doubt about it. And there are two kinds of risks that you face in general: systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Systematic risk is something that affects everyone in the markets. And for instance, when COVID hit last year, everyone in the market lost money. So, systematic risk is something that is very difficult to avoid. But uh, unsystematic risk is that which affects a particular stock or a particular sector. And in order to deal with unsystematic risk, we basically diversify the portfolio, and in the hope that if it hits us, then it will not hit all of our folio. Coming back to systematic risk, the only other way that what you can do to manage systematic risk is two things. One, invest only that money that you do not need, and two, uh, extend your time horizon as much as possible into the future as much as possible. So it can be at least a minimum of 5 years. If you cannot do these two things, then I think it is best that you stay away from the stock markets. Another question that I get is, markets are overheated. So should I sell my stocks now and sit on cash? This is a question that comes very often, even from experienced, investors. And the only way I answer this is that if you do need the cash, then by all means sell your stocks and sit on cash. The question is, what is it that you will do with that cash if you do not need it? If you do not need it for any other reason, are you going to put it into a bank FD, for instance? Are you going to put it into a fixed deposit? And will that help you get a good night's sleep? If so, then please, by all means, do that, because a good night's sleep is something you cannot buy anywhere else. However, if your investment horizon is long enough, it is best that you stay invested in the markets even through difficult times, even when either the markets are overheated, as they are now, or even when they are down, as it was last year. What types of stocks are best? Large caps, mid caps, or small caps? Now, this depends purely on the risk profile. On your risk profile. And the risk profile has two aspects to it. One is the risk-taking capacity, and the risk tolerance, which is the ability to tolerate risk in the middle of market volatility. And also, it depends on the amount of money that you are investing. So there is some science to it, but there is also a element of judgment to it. And whether you need only large caps or a mix of large caps and mid caps, or only mid caps, and so on, depends on primarily your risk profile. But it is something that your investment advisor will help you formulate. This is a very favorite question, all-time favorite. How much return can I expect from my investments? Quite frankly, how much return you will get or you can expect is a function of time. And I do not think either me or anyone else can predict that. Therefore, you have to be aware that if a systematic risk event like COVID unfolds, then you can even lose money in the markets. As long as you are investing with that clarity in your mind, I think you will be fine. But frankly, if you look at it, this question itself is irrelevant. It is irrelevant because returns being a function of time, it will differ every day that you measure it, and therefore, a better question to answer is: will investing in this particular instrument, this particular set of stocks, or this mutual fund, is it going to help me achieve my goal, the specific financial goal that I am investing for? And am I getting closer to that goal by investing in these instruments? And that is a better question. And if you look at it that way and measure the progress towards your goal, you will be better off instead of just asking about returns. My investment philosophy is basically, it can be worded, it can be summarized in two words. It is affordable quality. And for this purpose, how do I define affordable quality? I have three questions. These are outlined on my website at nx.com very clearly. The first thing I look at is, number one question: is this business making more money than its cost of capital? If not, it is actually eroding capital because it has to pay the cost of capital from its capital itself. And so I want to ensure that I invest in businesses that are making money from operations that are more than the cost of capital. Having gone and looked at that, number two question I look at is the business having significantly more knowledgeable assets? And why I do that is because if it is so, then that business is going to be able to generate more money than its cost of capital on a sustainable basis. So I want to invest in businesses that make more money than cost of capital on a sustainable basis. And then if these two check boxes are clear, are ticked, then I look at the third question: is this stock available at a reasonable price? And for that, I look at the ratio of the market value to the intrinsic value. If it is, in a reasonable range, then I say this is a stock that is worth investing. Go for it. So I think affordable quality, in my experience, is something that always pays off in the long run. So I hope that these questions and their responses today gave you some insight into the aspects of investment, directly into stocks or via mutual funds, and help you get answers to those questions that people ask me commonly. I thank Quantum Mutual Fund today for giving me this opportunity to reach out to investors, and I wish you all the best in your investment journey. Bye.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.